Hey, this is Dr. Josh Wagner coming at you again with another expert interview video. And in the next 20 or so minutes, I have one of the leaders in our profession with us here, David Marcarian, not even a chiropractor, but a past NASA researcher and creator and founder of the MyoVision technology software, which many practices use, which is showing objective results with your patient care. And now in this new era of chiropractic and the world in general, where everything is data and technology driven, you've got to get on board with what actually works nowadays to get people to understand, whether it may be in the courtroom or just for general patient care and wellness care and understanding what makes a difference. So David's invaluable, what he's contributed to the profession, what he sees in the changes, and what he suggests for going forward. So I'm going to give it over to David right now to share what's most important to him.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Appreciate you having me on. So the thing that's most important here, after years and years and years of working with chiropractors, I see so clearly how it is so important that we get out to the public and get everybody to know about the value of chiropractic. And probably the thing that drives me the most is that being technology driven myself, everything I have in my house, everything in my life is technology driven. And I feel like the solution that I can offer the profession is through the use of technology. And with the way things are going, everybody in the world's got these smartphones these days, and it's really important to make sure that we actually communicate with them using technology. And so I've worked on a lot of areas of incorporating technology to bring the profession up to the level that in some ways it actually was in many years ago. I don't know if, it's funny, when I used to teach at Palmer, I would show them technology, and oftentimes chiropractors were very artistic individuals. I mean, the skill level is just amazing. But communicating that artwork to the patient and to the people out in the outside world requires converting it into something that they understand. And what I found interesting at Palmer was they would say to me, well, why do I need this? I've got my hands. Why do I need to show anybody? I've got my hands. And I go, anyone heard of B.J. Palmer? And everyone would say yes. And I go, do you not know what's right downstairs at the clinic? If you haven't been in the clinic, there's the one person I know that can actually say this properly is Frank Savinsky, I guess, but the neurocalomodulation, do you know how to say it yourself? The
encephalograph.
Yeah, no one can do it. I mean, it's one of those things, but it doesn't matter. I took him downstairs and showed him, and I'm like, wow, B.J. Palmer, I think it was 1936, started using the NCM device, and within 5 years, the profession was the #1 alternative healthcare profession compared to medicine, traditional medicine. And how did he do that? He tested every single patient. This was back then. I'm just trying to bring back what he was doing in a modern way, and that's it. And the truth is, it's been unbelievable to see the impact this has on patients, the impact it has on courtrooms and juries. And as you know, I won this major case in Florida, and it's funny because it's probably the second largest case in our history, and most don't know about it, this case in Florida, because the chiropractic profession went up against itself in this case, and they didn't want anyone to know about the fact this case that went to the Supreme Court of Florida, which established the value of the MyoVision technology, was won for the chiropractic profession. And it's so funny how nobody knows about it, but it was huge. It was myself and a rebel chiropractor who said, no, the state of Florida is not going to tell me I can't use this technology in my office. We're going to fight it. And it was myself and he against 300 insurance companies and the state of Florida. It was insane how crazy that was. And the probability of winning was next to zero. We wouldn't exist right now if we lost. And at one point, there's video of this, 75 attorneys on one side and one attorney on the other, and we won the case. We won the lower court decision, we won the Superior Court case, and the Supreme Court rejected it. The point is that we established the value, he and I, myself as the only expert witness, established the value of this technology for chiropractors to actually take advantage of this evidence-based model that everybody hates. I look at it like, why not capitalize on this? The world is saying we need evidence. Well, we've got it. Why avoid using it? So that's where I'm coming from, is let's take advantage of this evidence-based model. I think it's very powerful. And the MyoVision is a great way to do that.
Exactly. And a lot of chiropractors maybe who don't like evidence-based may be thinking it gets in the way of a philosophical paradigm when it doesn't have to. It could be mutually together and shown to the patient in one. And one thing I love about what you just developed with MyoVision is the e-scan technology. So can you touch on that and how that really makes a difference in terms of referrals, education, understanding, all of that?
What happened was friends of mine have been complaining about the fact that their patients walk out the door, whether it's in their office or at screenings, they never see them again. You know, we haven't gotten past that 8% of the population. Actually, the most recent statistics show we've dropped below to about 6%. And I started listening to them complaining about the fact that they couldn't get in contact with patients, they disappeared. And I thought, what's a technological solution to this problem? And I started researching it, and believe it or not, even the AMA has put out a document, 25-page document, on the importance of getting in communication with your patient by using technology and how it makes it so much faster and easier. And I saw everybody walking around with smartphones I was in Amsterdam. Everybody's walking around with smartphones, and no, I wasn't there doing what everybody thinks you'd be doing in Amsterdam. I was actually there for work. And when I saw the smartphones, I was like, why? The things we want to be able to do is express to them the importance of what we just did, explain to them, make a follow-up call to them, be able to actually give them some information that's personalized. And what's unique about eScan is the fact that we can give them a brochure on the value of chiropractic, and we think that's good, but the truth is they want to know what's in it for me. That's really the truth. And the reality is that unless you show them something personalized, they're just not interested. We are overwhelmed right now by data. We're looking for the USA Today version of everything. We want to see that picture. So what I did was said, wow, I wonder if we can just use, and what's bizarre about this is the patent on it. I actually came up with this in 1999 and shelved it because the internet wasn't quite there yet. So what I did was I said, well, if you test somebody, and these are marvelous at screenings, but if you test somebody and you can get the data sent right to their phone and send them a graphic really quickly showing the results that they just said, wow, the two things that happen, they go, wow, here's an example of it. It sends it right to their phone, and it shows their levels of muscle tension or the thermography, whichever. And what ends up happening is they go, number one, the first thing they say when they see this is, wow, that is really cool, which makes the chiropractor very cool. The second thing is they go, now, this is the part that blew my mind. Those interested in wellness care that think you don't need technology, the number of patients that are there for wellness care that said to me, when I first came in, I came in because I hurt my back. That's what happens a lot of times. You want to think that people are there just to see you for general health, but most patients do show up because of the fact that they hurt something they had some pain for some reason. So they're out of pain, they want to still see you. At home, the friends and family, husband, father, whatever, is saying, no, I don't think you should. Why are you still seeing the chiropractor? Every single person said, wow, now I can send this to my husband or wife. And they would hit the button and forward it. And then they started posting it on Facebook. And because of the bottom of the screen, it actually has your contact information. So they can actually reach you directly. It actually has your name, your phone, whatever you want to put in there, a message, need adjustment. You can actually do specials for their friends and family. What happened also is I researched Facebook, and everyone has on average 160 friends on Facebook. Try to imagine this one patient posting this on Facebook, 160 people see that. That's you. The other thing that I found really cool was that when you use this technology, the doctor, and I know you know this, you've seen this, when they see on the screen what they know is a problem they have, because it's a patient awareness tool, we get used to everything. We don't feel the problems that we've got, and this is a reminder, wow, I do have a problem with my neck or my back or whatever it is. It gives you instant credibility. You, the doctor, just showed them something that proves that the technology works, it establishes you as credible. The next question always is, and this is common at screenings, what can I do about it? And that's one of the biggest problems we have, is being able to get them to say, what can I do about it? And that's opening the door, that bridge to communication, which opens the door for you to now say what it is you can do. Offer them chiropractic as a solution to the problem. Not a solution to all problems, a solution to their problem. It opens up the door for communication. They can then consider it, and they're way more open to it. The other thing huge about it, it's a follow-up call. They get it 2 seconds later. The number of people that are going to dinner or lunch after they see you, and they pull this up and show their friends, look what I just did, and they are so proud of their chiropractor. It's amazing how much they say, look how cool my chiropractor is. He has this, he has this technology that's so cool that a NASA guy designed. So very, very powerful tool. It's been very powerful. So
you touched on two really important parts that I'm going to reiterate because they're two of the pillars or tenets of what I show chiropractors how to increase their practice in the perfect patient funnel system. The first is you said all patients come with the mentality of what's in it for me. Absolutely right. Everyone is walking around 99% of the day with that mentality. And this technology, because it's specific to them, it supersedes doing a lay lecture. It supersedes looking at a generic nerve chart because it's exactly what's going on in their system. So it's getting them right between the eyes what's important to them rather than thinking they want to know more about the history of chiropractic or chiropractic wellness when they have a pain in their neck. That is a continuing conversation. That's an evolution. So the what's in it for me from the patient's perspective, I show chiropractors how to communicate in all levels on that realm, but this in terms of acute specific patient care is invaluable. The second one was when you said the first thing people say when they look at the scan is, this is cool. So it's not, this is informative or this is logical. It's an emotional response. Like, this is really cool. And that's one of the number one reasons that gets people to refer and talk about their chiropractor. Just like you said, at lunch, at dinner, after the visit. A person won't just refer to someone out of a logical understanding of, I think my brother or Mary Jane can get her headaches resolved from chiropractic. They won't do that unless they think the experience is going to be great for the person they're referring. So if they're having this amazing experience with you and can see it objectively with colors and it's about them and it's easy to share, whether it's Facebook or look at my iPhone, that is a viral way for referrals to take place in the way that referrals are based on emotion and wanting to be admired for what am I sharing with you. So both of those fit perfectly into two paradigms that I really share with chiropractors to increase their practice.
That's brilliant. You just took and put an intellectual structure about this thing that I've created, and I love the way you say that. It makes so much sense, and that what you're talking about, Josh, is the future, really the future of chiropractic. It's gonna, what you're talking about and what you want those that work with you to do is how we're going to ensure that the profession continues and grows, and it's the best way to do it. So I'm glad to hear you seeing things that way, and it's really important to let everybody know about that. Get out and yell at them all. Okay?
Yeah. And just as importantly, you brought up the aspect of you've recreated what was a staple and a foundation of the field with BJ Palmer. So think about it. He came out of nowhere, preached this form of care that no one had any idea what he was talking about, but he was able to back it up with objective, valid criteria.
Right.
Now, what I perceive is why some chiropractors left alone objective evaluation besides maybe x-ray is that, the insurance era hit. It was a lot easier for people to keep coming back, very little barrier of entry because most people had full benefits, and chiropractors can get away with just preaching the message and being friendly and being passionate and giving someone a decent experience or getting their pain gone. As insurance declines, it takes another level of communication, results, experience to maintain a relationship, to get people to refer. And that's why objective criteria, and especially visually engaging, is so important in nowadays. As insurance is dramatically declining, you need more stickiness factors. And this is a great example of one. I do pre and post thermography in every single patient I see, right, as an example of that in my practice. So I loved how you touched on that, because what happened when chiropractors maybe didn't need to use objective criteria because of insurance, that's not the era anymore. So you need to have all cylinders firing with all of the tools you can possibly have, as well as delivering the best care you possibly can.
That's such a great, the concept is so important. It's really adapt, migrate, or die. Those are our three choices. Adapt, migrate, or die. And the truth is, the guys that are stuck in the 80s, that are just sitting waiting for insurance to come back, you're gonna disappear, because you can adapt to it and you can grow, and this is a great way to grow, or you can move on to something else or disappear. And I'm seeing, it really is sad, I'm seeing some extremely talented chiropractors that are just saying, I'm just waiting for insurance to come back. It was great in the 80s and they want to bring the band back together and all that stuff, and that stuff just does not work. You got to go forward. You always have to go forward. You can't look backwards, and it's so great to hear you speaking that way, because your message is what I want all the people that I work with to hear. I mean, it's so important, and I'm glad to hear that. And the other part is that patients need it. The world needs it. You know, I heard someone talking about how a chiropractor helped prevent, or it helped reduce bedwetting. We all know that's true. And I think it'd be great to document that so the whole world knows it. And it was something like she's saying, well, I don't really want to say it, or I want to be careful what I'm saying. Well, then, you know, if you document it properly, where you can't get shot down, then you're going to be all set. And that's kind of what this does. It helps document for the patient and for the outside world. And I was saying, this goes beyond just the wellness patient and patient care and patient education. There's an entire other side. And it's interesting to see because many principal chiropractors are completely against personal injury, and I understand that. I understand it. It's mired in nonsense. But when I started digging in and finding out why, one of the things I noticed was a fear of thinking that they couldn't handle what they were doing. They couldn't handle expressing what they do in the world of PI. That they couldn't take on that IME and defend what they did with that patient. And so what I created was a tool which measures the combination of how far you can bend and the muscle guarding that occurs, which is bulletproof. There's 7,500 studies on surface EMG. There's about 70 that apply directly to this. And again, that case in Florida established the ability to use it to establish the credibility of a claim. But what it did for chiropractors, I kind of did it because I wanted to level the playing field. I saw that they would fall apart sometimes in front of, not just in front of a jury, they wouldn't get there. In deposition, when they're up against some famous orthopedic surgeon, they'd be fearful. And I thought, I want to level the playing field because the other side won't use technology. And someone asked me this the other day, a news anchor here that's real famous in Seattle, asked me, why is it that IMEs don't use this technology? And the truth is, you have to remember why. It's really simple. Their job, they're being paid to say nothing's really wrong with the patient. If they use technology and show that there is a problem, they have to report that, which means they're not going to get any more IME jobs. So they are avoiding it, and it gives us this huge opportunity to slip in and to gain control of that whole arena. And I know some principal chiropractors here in Washington, it's amazing to see, that have said, wow, I can't believe that, A, this has established me as credible by using it, and B, it's so easy and no one's arguing with me. I don't even have to go to court. I'm not even being deposed. They're just paying everyone out. And the attorneys love it because they know up front if they have a good case or not. And secondly, currently the way it works in personal injury insurance, they don't want to pay anybody anything. So it's at zero basically. When they receive this data, they know they're not going to win. There's been so many court cases, we've never lost a single one, that they always end up paying out. You don't get the call from the attorney saying, well, you cut your bill. Never happens anymore because this data leads to them paying everybody. So that at minimum happens. The average, an attorney here put in writing, the average case that he's seeing where he sends people to get the MyoVision test is paying out 10 times on average what it was without it at this point. So it's been a big change. But the main thing there, though, is the fact that I thought I was just going to level the playing field. I made it so we dominate now. We just completely did. We just won another huge case here in Washington. And again, that's what ended up happening. 6 hours on the stand. The DC just did such a great job, Alan Fraley, and we won the case. The insurers used it as a test case to say, we're going to send the best IME against the DC and beat them, and then we'll never have to deal with this again. Well, they lost again, which means forever. This is spreading around the country right now. It was just recent. But the point I'm making is that there's nothing wrong. Are you going to penalize patients for having accidents? That's the question I ask. And the answer is no. Do you want to then support them and make sure they get the best care? That's where the other side of this tool comes in. So I love the marketing and the patient education, and I want to get the word out. I also want to dominate that world of PI because they're just beating everybody up. In the medical world, there is no expert in soft tissue injury except for chiropractors. They know better than anybody. And it's an opportunity to take advantage of that. So anyways, that's a really big point here, is that there's nothing wrong with doing PI, and I've set up a way for you to do it right so you don't have to worry about the stress of interacting with the medical world, and you'll always win. And that's just kind of what's been happening. So, and I've proven it.
That's amazing. You've never lost a case. So,
never.
You know, if you have a PI practice out there and it's not working out as well for you, proof's in the pudding. So
Yeah.
thank you for contributing that to the profession.
Yeah.
And I'd like to agree too. I've never delved into PI, but not to
I
say
don't
that,
blame you.
yeah, as long as the chiropractor is doing it in integrity, ethically, and the patients aren't malingerers, people deserve care if they've been in an injury, and if they have the benefits, PI benefits to get covered, why
Yeah.
not?
Right.
So drop the whole stigma of if it's not exactly what you do, it's awful and evil and horrible. That's move on. You don't have to do it, but
Right.
don't criticize when it's being done ethically.
Right.
Uh,
Precisely.
yes,
Ethically is the key.
yeah,
And a
David.
lot of the guys, a lot of guys are not been ethical about it. That's a big
Right,
problem.
and that may be also why the profession has gotten in the PI world the stigma it may have gotten. Most things are happen for a reason. So
Yes. Yeah.
you want to change it, you got to change the game one practice at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up on 20 minutes, I want to keep this short.
Yep.
Anything last you want to share that's most important to you for practitioners that are listening right now to make a difference in this obvious change in economic state and perception of chiropractic in general going forward in the years? What can you offer?
Well, I just think that there's no, I've seen the practices, and there's videos on my website you can see, but I've seen the practice double and triple in 3 to 4 months, 5 months. It's amazing by using technology. So, and these are wellness-based practices. In the PI world, that's obvious, but in the wellness-based practices, because patients just want to know. The thing that I think is most important, though, by far to me, is those calls I get from the patient crying on the phone. And why? Because no one believed there's anything wrong with them. When you can do that for them, when you can validate that they actually have a real problem, or in the case where they don't, also help them, redirect them to solve what other psychological issues there are, whatever happens. The point is that when you can validate that patient, it's amazing. The reduction in stress that occurs with that patient is just huge for me. I love to see that, because everybody feels attacked. They feel like they don't need to see, why are you seeing a chiropractor? Everyone asks, why are you seeing a chiropractor? What do they do? No one knows. Guess what? We can show you now. So that's where it's really powerful. With the ADA tax credit, too, when you buy the equipment, up to $10,000 is half off anyway. So it's almost like it's kind of a no-brainer that way. And I don't really want to get into the sales side of things, but the point is that everyone that gets the stuff, they always question, how am I going to pay for it? And then they get it. Their practice is, boom. There's a Baden Patterson out in Idaho. Amazing. I told him as a student, I remember saying that, just buy it. You're going to love it. Get it before you get carpet in your office. See what happens. And he called me up. He opened his practice. He first was out doing screenings, and we use a little hotspot so you can send, everybody's got hotspots on their phones or any cellular hotspot, so there's no issue sending tests. He did screenings in gyms right out of school. And the first month in practice, everybody knew him in the area because of doing the e-scan, sending him off to everybody. Everybody had his information. They receive it 3 places. They get their email, they get it in their iPhone or their smartphone, and they get it on a tablet. So they see 3 reinforcements. The point is, he called me up, David, my first month in practice, I netted $22,000.
Really good.
How do you beat that? How do you beat it? That's what I love to hear. I love hearing the patients, how it's validated them, and I love hearing the doctors that happens to, which is really the majority of them. So you've seen in your practice the change that occur when you use technology. So
Definitely. And so what's the website people can go to find out more information?
www.myovision.com. And
That's simple.
yep, that's simple, myovision.com. So yep, and I really recommend they go to it. And if you have any questions, they can always email David at MyoVision, and I can answer anything that I can, or get it to the person that can. So okay.
Excellent. So to see everything that is part of the MyoVision videos, myovision.com. And David, thank you not only for doing this right now, but everything you've done for the profession, all of the sweat, blood, and tears I'm sure you've poured in the courtroom, in the laboratory, in front of the computer. So thank you for that.
And thank you. I want to say also thank you for what you're going to be doing to the profession. I want to get your mindset is exactly what's going to take this profession to the next level. And I'll help you do that too. And it's really important that people listen to you, because you really got a great concept for how we can move forward. And I really appreciate that tremendously.
Cool. Thank you, David. And I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you very much.